Hi, this is Scott. Welcome to the Tall Woodworker. In this video, I'm going to do a wood and resin turning into some sort of cup or something. Stick around. So I recently posted a short video on YouTube where I showed the result of me casting a piece of maple burl, similar to this, in some resin. And, well, here it is. So I've already got this thing mounted up on my 4-jaws. I'm going to turn this into some form of pencil cup or other type of vessel like that. And yep, that's what we're going to be doing in this video today. Now, before I get started with this project, I did want to announce that I have officially launched my own Patreon page. So big shout out to my first 2 Patreon supporters, Joyce and Matt. Thank you so much for being those first 2 supporters on my channel. Like a lot of woodworking creators on YouTube, everything that you see me do is self-funded. I pay for everything out of my own pocket. I don't have any sponsors as of right yet. And while some people do purchase some of the pieces that I make, for the most part, this is me doing a craft on my own. So I wanted to open up a Patreon account so that if you decide that you'd like to help support my channel, that would be an open forum for you to be able to do that. Now really quickly, I wanted to be 100% clear. 100% of the contributions that I receive from Patreon are going to go to this channel, nowhere else. I'm not going to be taking that money and going on a dinner date with my wife or something like that. Sorry, babe. But it is for this channel, so I might use that to buy some lumber for a project, or save some of it up for a new tool for the shop, or even upgrade some of my equipment for recording these videos. But I swear to you, I will not use those contributions for anything that you do not see on this channel. Now, I don't want anybody to feel pressured into having to contribute on my Patreon page. If you enjoy my videos and you want to just contribute by giving it a thumbs up or putting a comment down below, or just subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, that's awesome. I thank all my Patreon supporters, and I thank you all for watching. So for right now, let's get on the lathe and get started. When I poured the resin in the cup, I used enough resin to cover the entire block of wood. However, resin tends to shrink as it cures, so I didn't have a good flat surface to secure the block using a faceplate. I'm going to need to flatten the top first. Now, in case any of you are thinking that, hey, I want to turn something with resin on it, well, this is what your shop looks like, and your beard. Yeah. And that's only after about 10 minutes of turning this thing. Resin creates these really long ribbons of shavings that go in the exact direction of, well, wherever you don't want them to go. It's funny how they have a mind of their own. Not only did I get pelted by resin shavings, but the camera did as well. You can see that on the lens right about there. Once I got the top flattened, I could screw the faceplate to the top and then turn the outside and bottom. In many cases, the original jaws I used are more secure than this faceplate, but only if your mortise or your tenon on the block is properly shaped. Coming out of the mold, I just clamped the base of the block to the jaws, but that didn't give me a super secure fit. Plus, I need some way to turn the bottom. I start to shape the outside of the cup. My goal was to expose as much of the wood as possible without making this too small and wasting a lot of the material. At one point, I had even decided to give it a concave profile just to make it look a little nicer. This is my first time turning this brand of resin, so I'm approaching it very cautiously. In the end, it turned even better than Alumilite, but being a larger casting, I was still on edge most of the time. After the outside is shaped, I can cut the mortise on the base. While the faceplate is still mounted, I take the time to sand the outside to 150 grit. This way, when I sand later, I will have sanded the outside in both directions for a super smooth finish. I also sand the bottom to 220 grit, then apply sanding sealer and the finish to the bottom. This will be the last time I have access to the bottom, so I may as well finish that now. Before mounting the cup back to the jaws, I measure out how deep I need to go on the inside, and then I start drilling? Is it still wood turning if a drill is going to be doing the work? Well, I guess the cup is still turning, and I'm the one guiding the bit in, so yeah, it's still wood/resin turning. While the Forstner bit clears out the bulk of the material, it still leaves me with work to do. I shape out the inside, trying to follow the outside contours as best as I can. Several previous bowls I have kept thick walled, just because I'm not comfortable at my skill level. This time I took a little more time to thin the sidewalls even more. I wanted light to be able to pass through the resin when finished. It doesn't take long before the shape is just what I want. Now on to sanding. I sand the outside and the inside to 320 grit using a combination of my drill sander and some mesh sanding pads. Here comes the best parts. First, I apply a sanding sealer, and this helps fill any imperfections in both the wood and the resin. It also draws out the colors of the burl. After the sanding sealer, I use a friction polish to bump up the sheen and make it nice and smooth to the touch. So, what do you think? I'm going to be 100% honest. I really like the way that this thing turned out. Now, I haven't done too many wood and resin turnings in the past, at least not of my own casting, so this is really cool to see. This is the first time that I turned a new type of resin. In previous turnings, it's always been Alumilite, which has turned really great. I decided to go for something just a little different and decided to use Ma's deep pour resin to cast this. And it was really nice. I really like the way that this turned out. So if you like this pencil cup, I'm going to call it a pencil cup, not a drinking cup. If you like this pencil cup, I will most likely be posting this up on my Etsy store. So feel free to go and click the link in the description and you can check this out. You can also check out my Patreon page if you're interested. And again, no pressure on that whatsoever. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and if you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. Either way, that helps me understand what people enjoy about my channel and what they don't. So either or, feel free to do that, and leave a comment down below. Till next time, thanks for joining me in my shop.